Thanks for joining us again here at the SMITE Minor League. My name is Finch, and I'm happy to have you. We are moving from SML EU to SML North America, but before that, I want to make sure I talk to you guys a little bit about the new Battle for Olympus skins. Get Molten Shogun, Erlang, Shen, and Snowtrix Raw right now. That's pretty cool that you can go get those. I would if I were you. I'm also joined here on the desk, though, by Ryan Agro Bailey. He's right over here. I'm stuck with him all day long. Hinderman does the schedule. There's nothing I can do.
Yep. It's going to be a good day for you, Finch. Boy, are you lucky, huh? What a day. I mean, you come into work, it's Tuesday, you're like, minor league day, I'm already excited, and then you take a look at the schedule, Finch, aggro, Finch, aggro, Finch, aggro, Finch, aggro. Woo! It's going to be a good day.
It just kept showing up. Nothing that I could do about it. This next set that we're going to, this is Armada up against Team Cryptik. Again, as you said on the schedule, I'm stuck with you here for that one. Let's take a look at those North American standings. You might be surprised to see it's actually not Armada up there at the very top. They are 1-1. I believe they dropped to Sanguine in that first week is what happened. But then Sanguine also wasn't able to complete their set. I believe they had to forfeit their match. So despite them coming off to such a great start, it really is a bummer for them. They had to take that loss.
And this new hype unit squad ends up on 3-0 right now. Again, a bit of an asterisk because they get the win over Sanguine, which really would have been a very exciting match that I was really looking forward to seeing. So we're going to have to wait until a little bit later on in the split to see those two face off, because I do think that this hype unit team is pretty competitive, and as a result, Armada need to find victories against teams like Cryptik if they want to catch them in the standings.
Yeah, I think EU SML was the more competitive region in Phase 1, but for what it's worth, I think that North America has really improved and everyone's starting to step up. Space Station was a bit of a non-factor in Phase 1. I think they're better for what it's worth now, too. There's just a lot to look at everywhere here around this entire region. So let's focus in a little bit more here on this next one. Armada and Cryptik picks and bans already. Let's go ahead and start moving into it.
Yeah, North America definitely the most improved award, I would say, but they had the most room to grow. So it's kind of a backhanded compliment almost in a lot of ways. But they have gotten a lot better so far this phase, and especially with the addition of teams like Hype Unit. I mean, the two new teams in Europe have struggled so far in Horizon Union and Exordium. On the North American side of things, Hype Unit's a new squad, and they're sitting at 3-0 right now.
Yeah, they're definitely looking strong, so clearly there's plenty of talent down here. Armada, on the other hand, they had to go through some changes. Only Baskin is back here with them, but then they don't have Snoopy anymore, right? They don't. I mean, so it's a lot of shifting parts for this team. It's hard to know exactly where it is that they're going to end up landing. So that's why I'm so excited for this set, to see if they're as strong as we remember them being. Merlin, Erlang, and Jormungandr are all banned. Those are all standard, as with this Kronos and Isis. So far, nothing particularly crazy.
Oh, the Ares ban, actually. Mascot, we know, likes to take that when he can. But this leaves open Thor, and that's been a mascot for a long, long time.
Oh, hey,
a little surprised that it's the Jingwei first pick here for Armada. The typical, we didn't really want first pick.
That's what it feels a little bit like, right? Because, I mean, I don't know. I don't put that much value on Jingwei nowadays, so I am a bit surprised by that. And then immediately Cryptik respond by taking a Thor of their own, who I do put a ton of value on. And don't get me wrong, I think Jingwei's certainly still strong. It's just that you can get a lot of what she does in other spots.
Yeah, but you just gave up Thor's set. I mean, has there ever been any team in the history of a competitive set where you see the enemy team first pick Jingwei and you're like, man, I really wanted that.
Man, we got you really amped, huh?
I know. I'm in a mood all of a sudden. You get to the second half of the day and all bets are off. But like, it's Jingwei. Who cares? I don't know. I really don't like Armada giving up Thor's set here.
They follow it up with Nemesis and Kumbhakarna. And again, I think that what we're talking about here with these drafts is not a critique of the gods. Certainly these are all strong. It's just a critique of value, it feels like, right?
Yes.
And I would say that Nemesis and Jingwei both are not ones I would place value above Thor's set or Zhong.
Yeah. Cryptik is like, are you guys sure? You know,
you guys cool
they're like checking the Discord to make sure they aren't asking for a remake because someone like hit the wrong god by accident 3 times in a row. Cryptik got Thor set Zhong, and Armada is going to have to just outright outplay Cryptik in this game already, I think, just based on picks and bans alone. Cryptik has the objectively stronger gods in today's meta, but that's why they play the game. You gotta end up executing on the battlefield.
It's a cliche for a reason. We'll be seeing them in action in just a moment. And this is interesting why I'm so excited for the set. The Armada of Phase 1, I would have put my money on them anyway because they can just outplay just about anybody.
No doubt.
But, you know, without Scream, without Snoopy, can they still do that? I think that question remains to be seen. They don't have to worry this time, though, about doing it against the Moose and Cobb or Habois. But now they have the Ullr too, and there's still room to get aggressive picks like Horus to add to the squad still, too.
Yeah, Horus does look pretty good. And look, it's not to say Armada is completely clueless right now. I think this Nemesis pick is an informed one, understanding that Cryptik might be taking Zhong before the second ban phase. This is also a mascot that he's been playing forever, so you end up taking the Nemesis so that you can insulate yourself against that Zhong. It's not like they've completely not paid attention so far.
Yes, and they have a ton of setup, so this Ra fits in quite nicely, not only to give you some sustain, which is going to be really strong if this does go later, but between the Kumbhakarna and the Athena, these Searing Pains should all be connecting at this point.
Yeah, Meerkat's going to have a lot on his plate this game, but good setup between the Kumbha and Athena. Not a lot of CC immunity on their side for Cryptik, so there's potential for Meerkat to have a really big game on this Ra. And he's done it before, even when the rest of the team is a little bit struggling. I can remember some great Ra games from Meerkat.
Yeah, so it could potentially be scary here for Team Cryptik. We'll see how it all ends up shaking up. It's Anatoly and Tom on the call.
Armada versus Team Cryptik. And Meerk bringing out the Ra.
Love it.
I'm excited for this one. Rarely do we see Ra. But, I mean, I'm generally a fan. It's one of Anatoly's claims to fame, if you remember back in the day when he was a player. And Doug, if you remember when we do our, you did skill shot versus pros. I know Doug likes the Ra, don't you, Doug?
Yeah, he does. The little zooming in action. But Ra is definitely one of these unsung heroes that can bring so much to the team between the healing with the protections as well, being able to hit anyone from a distance at such a fast rate. It's not like a Thoth that takes about 4 seconds to charge the ultimate, or Kulkin to be able to go from like 1.5 seconds. Ra is about 1 second channeling time and it just hits right off the bat.
The old school objective secure was just, you got Poseidon and Ra, because that's what we're looking for. Ra certainly still brings that. As you mentioned, the healing certainly a part of it, but really what you're looking for out of the Ra at this point is just be damage, man. You got your damage from a distance is very, very confirmable, and it's on a low cooldown as well. So you're going to be able to pop that in early and often. Expect to see these Ra ults fly. Some of them might hit, some of them might miss, but when they make an impact, everybody in the club going crazy.
Oh, Diesel trying to run away there from Geno's rotation. Letting Vetium get a lot of control in this lane now with Diesel not having Purification Bees. This is a good look for JinguBang to abuse any mage, let alone a Zhong.
Baskin on the Athena solo. Love Athena when she's able to be in these aggressive roles. Athena jungle, as made famous by Lazarus once upon a time. Athena in the solo lane. I think a couple of people have played it, but Baskin always comes to mind as my Athena guy, man. The global rotation is real nice. Taunt is taunt. Sometimes it feels like if you don't have beads for a taunt, you just die. And it's certainly going to feel that way with a taunt into a Ra ultimate. Taunt, mask, Meerk, dead. That's the game plan here for Armada for sure.
People definitely forget about the true power of the Athena shield wall in terms of clearing the wave. Very easy to group up the wave using that Athena passive anyway. The problem in this matchup is that MandoWarrior on the set can easily abuse the Athena if you're not careful. You have to make sure that when the Kingslayer comes up, use that dash to get the block stacks to absorb some of those basics.
Skewer is not exactly a channel ability, so you're not going to get anything of taunting Mando out of anything like that. Sometimes you can make use of that. You know, Guan favors terribly against the Athena and stuff like that. Not going to be the case this time around, so I'm sure we'll keep an eye on how that matchup works out. But over here in the mid lane, we've got Copebby hanging out in the mid lane, one of the positions he has not played. Traditionally a jungler. Cope making the move over to middle lane as him and the boys try to make something happen. And Armada, obviously Meerkat on the Ra we've spoken about. So Cope on the Ullr mid. How are you feeling about his transition?
We're about to find out as the late game or mid to late game will approach, but just by him picking the Ullr alone, I think is a good look to transition away from that jungle role because of how many plays can be opened up by hitting the axe stun or just looking for poke onto Meerkat, because Meerkat's going to be maxing out that one. Not going to be maxing out the heal for quite a while, so you have still plenty of time to poke out Meerkat, already out of mana, so he's going to have to back, and Cope could maybe look for an invade play on that back right camps.
That's by way of the book. Book of Thoth just finished now. Not a lot of sustain, but certainly allows you to start those stacks early and get them up and running. When you start looking at Ullr, you know, I like that you said that this was a good pick for him. Ullr is the best jungler that doesn't jungle. Does that make sense? He feels like an ability-based assassin. You feel like he should be coming out in the jungle, but rarely do we see him clear the concern.
Ooh.
Nah.
Almost lucky was Vetium there. Gonna eat a tower shot for his troubles. If that airstrike connects, that's a kill onto Diesel.
Yep.
Forced to try to get Vetium away with that ultimate, but not enough damage.
Diesel's decision-making there, nice and smart, able to hang on.
And you could tell Vetium wanted to save that ultimate for a long time by getting closer and closer with those basic attacks, really trying to min-max the potential of that play. A lot of credit to the former SPL Hunter.
Mando and Baskin. Baskin, neither of them using their ultimate. Mando's will have a little bit more presence. There is going to be help for the jungle. And Mask, first blood off of the solo lane gank. Really beautifully timed, too. Baskin sits there and demands the 1v1 quite over and over and over again. Mando understands the threat in the jungle. Half takes the bait. Half takes the bait. Finally full commits, and that's right when Mask shows up.
And Baskin's been playing against so many different kinds of players that he can kind of read any situation. And he kind of read MandoWarrior's tendencies of this set to play aggressive, also to the point where Baskin has been bullying out Mando a little bit earlier on, and he kind of definitely frustrated Mando. He's like, all right, well, I gotta sustain back up and look for a play here because he doesn't have teleport, so he doesn't want to back with a low health pool. He would rather stay and fight and stay farming to get that cooldown a little bit closer.
JinguBang, our jungle Thor, certainly a character I would like to see get off the ground, both literally and figuratively. Thor is a character that I always ask to be the first maneuver. I want to see them being the playmaker and allow somebody to follow up, right? Not been the case, obviously one level above and first blood going to Mask in the jungle on the other side. JinguBang now level 5, level 6. I want to see this Thor start ulting and start demanding that Armada look at him.
Sibyl. Blinked on the left side of the map, does force out the airstrike out of Vetium. And yes, JinguBang on the Thor can easily start looking for the plays, but it doesn't have to be in terms of the ultimate. It could just be straight up walling and setting up the long range poke from Copebby.
Right there we'll see the off-the-mark ult, but it still is enough to take down Meerkat. Geno's here by himself, trying to isolate Sibyl. But the gank onto Geno. Diesel punctures the solo laner. And the damage is good enough. 2 last hits to Diesel. Gotta love the basic attack there. So 1 kill for the Fat Man. Team Cryptik up 2-1. Armada tied.
It's looking pretty good, I think, for them to come back. But they just got to make sure that they don't let things slip away in the solo lane matchup. Already, MandoWarrior just now hitting level 8 Baskin, about half a level ahead out of this set Warrior, but he's still playing aggressive as Mando despite that earlier death, realizing that his jungler's right around the corner. A little bit more freedom there. Armada with a 1-point advantage of the Totem of Good. Nothing really too crazy yet.
Nice trade back and forth, which is odd to say. I mean, that's, again, credit to Baskin. Not that that's something that's in you know, scarcity, but credit to Baskin there. The Athena solo often doesn't get totems versus a set. So that's just Baskin understanding push, power, wave control, and of course totem control.
That's right. It's all timing, small little nuances. Baskin able to get the better end of it thus far. Seeing how the mid-neutral camp control has been going towards Armada, this is the key point of contention, and they're winning these trades because Meerkat has been using his one from a distance and also his ultimate during one random wave to be able to out-rotate Cryptik for these neutral camps. And with the left side now, more freedom for Armada to be aggressive.
That's something that's old school as well. We used to, Ra and Hercules always come up as characters that have no problem ulting the wave to be able to back or move rotation, because that ultimate in this level, like right now, you're level 8. It will have an impact in a team fight, but whether or not that team fight is going to come is a different story. I definitely want to back to finish my boots or my Book of Thoth, and so with the low cooldown that is Meerkat's, we'll certainly be willing to let that fly a little bit more often.
Yeah, speaking of a little bit of different builds, is the Heartseeker. I was going to talk about the cooldown from Baskin's breastplate of valor, but this Heartseeker is a very interesting one as well onto Mask, augmenting those basic attacks a little bit and his abilities. I'm expecting a Hydra Star, or Hydra's Lament rather, as well.
Geno knocked up.
Mistimed.
Yep.
It was accurate, but it was a little bit too late on the landing.
And we're going to see that many more times. So the first one is swing and a miss. We'll see how it develops later on as the game continues. But for now, Armada will just have a 500 gold lead. Nothing really to hang a hat on, but nothing to be afraid of either. Across the way, you were talking about Mask looking for a Hydra's Lament, possibly. We'll keep an eye on that one as the dual lane's in trouble. Sibyl trying to cut down Geno, and Vetium taking the brunt of the attention off of his support.
Sometimes you gotta be the support for your support as Vetium very low, forced to airstrike away. Baskin barely able to dash away, but he's gonna get chased down.
MandoWarrior over jumps, and Baskin gonna look to turn things around. The ultimate on top of the Meerkat. Taunt should be coming out soon. Mask will kill the mid laner off screen, and MandoWarrior will die to the mid laner on screen. 2 players sit down for Cryptik, and Armada have taken the kill lead and the gold lead. 1,100 in their favor.
There were so many kills just dropped from Cryptik. They had 2 kills on the left side onto Geno and Vetium. Let those slip. Don't really get much outside of, I believe, a purple buff invade, so at least they got that going for them. And then 2 more kills dropped on the right side. Great rotation from Meerkat to really make his presence felt there.
Looking to move on to the next sequence here, Totally. Mask, certainly feeling strong. Usually Heartseeker is thought of as a later game item, right? Because they're going to get hit by a whole bunch of power.
Yes.
And that's interesting because I think that we've seen generally 2 looks out of Nemesis. The Jotun's Wrath, Crusher, and full ability base. Hopefully I can cut him now with Slice and Dice, and that'll be the majority of what I do. And then the other side is leaning on the passive from the Nemesis, the in-hand base build. And even there's 2 forks. Either we see the Chinsai attack speed build, or adapting has been known to go into critical strike. So there's a couple of different ways to kind of peel this orange. Which direction do you think Mask is going to go, and do you agree with it?
I think he's going to probably go more cooldown reduction after the Hydra's Lament. I'm expecting maybe Jotun's Wrath just to be kind of like an ulti bot as well and get more Hydra's Lament procs going. MandoWarrior barely able to survive. Still trying to run away for the moment. Masked. Doesn't have Blink, so he can't really commit too far deep unless Geno can play setup.
Instead, Thor heads to the sky. Takes out Meerkat Mask a little bit behind. And that's exactly the play that Cryptik want to make every single time. Allow JinguBang to get off the ground and be the first to strike, and Mask will always be in the wings watching. That's what Cryptik want to play for. That's what they want to look out for. Whether or not they can get that again is a different story, because that first example was beautiful. Geno's going to be surrounded, but he's got Baskin coming through in the clutch. JinguBang avoids the nonsense from both him and the carry, but it's Baskin, it's Masked, and it's Vetium that all get one. JinguBang, Sibyl, and Diesel all sit down, and Armada just wins individually.
Teamwork has been really impressive here, F-Dot. Armada grouping up to save their support not once, but twice throughout the course of this game. Baskin, with his Defender of Olympus, has been feeling so confident that he's built into this Sunder to be able to force even more kills on top of it. With a very unconventional draft out of Armada, very confident were they in this picks and bans, ignoring the Thor, the Set, and the Zhong when they all were open for themselves. And with this early goal fury, they're just really running a havoc onto Cryptik. And there was a very small window for Cryptik to make a play onto Geno before that Defender of Olympus happens. But this is a Kumbhakarna we're talking about.
Yeah. Certainly going to be a different world there. Early game, mid-game, depending on which team you're looking at. Team Cryptik still very much in the early game, and Armada making moves into that mid-game. Let's take a look at that Sunder. It's been a while since we've seen it. I will say, obviously, this team is having fun. Sunder no longer does the... It's interesting. Getting the kill off of Sunder used to be the kind of go-to. Yeah. Now, you really want to hit Sunder in the beginning.
Yes.
That's going to start the team fight. As I said, straight up, Armada's having fun.
They are.
But if you are going to pick a character to have Sunder on, Athena's a character that always looks good, because you're going to taunt the player directly into the Sunder nonsense.
It's a 2-second taunt at max strength.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to get a lot of damage off with Meerkat, especially having this red buff. The Searing Pain ultimate does a lot of damage, but it helps when you can already remove 15% of an enemy's total health bar. Cope will be forced to use those speeds. He was a little afraid of Meerkat's ultimate, but the mistake by Cope there was that he didn't know the ultimate from Meerkat was used already on the speed buff.
Ooh.
Meerkat also having a lot of fun.
10% CDR already. I'll be honest, man. That raw ultimate on cooldown with 10% CDR, what is that?
It's
50?
It's 70 seconds at rank 1, going down all the way to 50 seconds at max rank.
Yeah. Sibyl, taunted, jaunted, see you later.
Or 80 to 60. Rather.
Yeah. That's the combo that we're looking for. Taunt into everything. Mask, or excuse me, Meerkat primarily, but Mask ults if Mask ults the same target that Meerkat does,
yes,
they don't live.
They do not. Not for, or if they do, they're basically like completely bloodied up.
Taunt, Sunder, Mask ult, Meerkat ult, you're dead.
They look like the Chalk Slaughterhouse skin that got all the kills, all bloodied and bruised up.
That's a really cool, we haven't seen any sort of mechanic like that in a while. I really loved the that mechanic. Chalk Slaughterhouse skin. As he gets a kill, he gets covered in blood.
Yep.
More and more so until he dies. Is there another skin in the game?
There's like tier 5 skins as you level. You're
Sure.
like kind of evolving.
But it's not like the Chalk one.
No, definitely not like the Chalk. Like the Thor Ragnarok skin. It's kind of like you're in a suit.
Right.
Or you're not.
After you ult, you're in the suit. Before you do, yeah. It's so different though. Like I said, I mean, it's kind of funny because you'll go throughout the game without seeing the solo laner, right? Mm-hmm. You're playing jungle. You're playing, especially if you're playing carry. You don't see the solo laner until like 15 minutes in, and if he's all just covered in blood, you hit tab. You're like, what are the Armada up to over there? Like, what's going on?
Armada looking to be up to no good as they're looking for a play using that Defender of Olympus, but they forced out the Anvil of Dawn, so a fair trade.
There for now. Sibyl in the mid lane, Agreston, rooted, stunned, Mez, yawned. There's going to be help. The ultimate turned around as these warriors show up and put Mez down. Beautiful play there from the Zhong, and Gino likely to suffer the same fate. Vetium on the outside in some trouble, and Meerkat misses the ultimate, and now he's in trouble. As Baskin trying to deal with Cope. But that, wow.
Yeah, 676 damage just from that one ability. Not even the ultimate on top.
Trouble for Baskin. But again, he'll be able to walk on out of there. Nice job from Armada to dissuade what could have been a lot worse, but a beautiful play by Team Cryptik to answer back to Armada's kind of just unbridled aggression. You can't walk there. I don't care if you're up 4,000 gold.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to make that play. And I think a lot of teams kind of fold and just give up the tower, walk away. Instead, Cryptik dig their feet in. They lose the tower, but they still fight for it.
They do. They do get at least a couple of kills, but what objectives are they really claiming after the fact? With their 5-on-3 power play, they're still forced to kind of reset after Meerkat does hit the Celestial Beam, kind of chipping away Cope's health, deterring the action further.
And that, Armada's having fun. They do this a lot. If you've watched Armada play in the minor league, they are a cut above most of these teams, and they're really not afraid to like flex it or whatever. But that's what, kind of makes them, you sit there and you go, well, how can they just make these mistakes and get away? Are they really that much better? The answer is yes, they're that much better. But also, look at when Armada decide to get silly and throw everything to the wall, right? When nothing is up.
Yeah.
So, best case scenario, Armada look awesome as Baskin is zoning the enemy player at 14 minutes. They get a tier 2. It's all. Worst case scenario, the enemy gets 2 kills. And those are the calculations that Armada's making that other teams maybe don't, that allow them to kind of play fast and loose.
I mean, this is basically an SPL team at its core, right? Like, this is a team with a little bit of a roster changes that managed to beat Team Rival at the MSI in the best-of-3 set. Very impressive stuff out of them. It was with Solar Troll instead of Baskin, and it was with Snoopy instead of Vetium. But it was still those other 3 core players.
Backside, Meerkat, Cope, and Mando on the case. And Meerkat will be put down. JinguBang in trouble, and Baskin is looking for Cope on the backside. On the front side, enemy jungler will get out of there, but it's set with the double kill. Kingslayer has allowed him to penetrate this backline, and now looking for the tank. Meanwhile, around the corner, Vetium getting beat down by 2 different members, and it's Sibyl that finds the last hit. A 3-for-1 exchange, and Cryptik leave happy.
A lot of damage is being dealt now by Diesel on the Zhong, not to mention MandoWarrior. Both of these side laners really making their presence felt at these team fights. I think that Armada underestimated.
Oh, I thought Sibyl was going to go down to the shield wall, taunted too far. JinguBang shows up, Baskin will fall down, and Geno suffers the chase from Thor. A brief moment in the pause here for Team Cryptik, but they return, and the Primal Fury will belong to them one more time. 4,000 gold lead for Armada, and with this Primal Fury, it should cut that in about half. And that brings us down to about 2,000 gold. Team Cryptik behind.
See, Armada are just overextending now at this point, putting themselves in positions they don't need to be in. They need to look for, like, the 5-man groupings, right? See if Sibyl's going to come up to them, taunt Sibyl, look for the Celestial Beam poke, mask, slice and dice, reset.
Yeah.
And if they get poked back, well, sit under Meerkat's heel. And then you're just in a fine spot. But if they keep overextending, well, now they're going to get punished. Diesel is taking advantage of Armada's grouping.
Yeah.
That ultimate is just paying off so much value every time. And then MandoWarrior picking off the stragglers with a Kingslayer. It's hard to get away from that mobility.
Not even just the ultimate from the Zhong, that exorcism, when it hits 2 carries, is so much damage. You're talking about a third of somebody's life bar if they don't have the right protections. And if you're able to penetrate that back line and you get 2 players with it, it's dirty. Sibyl wiggles his way onto the right-hand side. Cope still looking for the flank.
Like, if Diesel was there, that 3-man grouping would have get instantly punished.
Sibyl here looking to get punished. What Tolly said is true. Armada should back off here. Instead, they're going to stick to it. Diesel does just that. Blinks towards the left side. Meerkat is getting jumped on by MandoWarrior. Here, fall down. And MandoWarrior looking for Vetium as Baskin deals with Diesel off screen. Vetium is able to find the last hit versus the Thor. And now Cope by himself. But here comes Baskin. It's a 1-for-2 exchange. Armada leading the charge. Sibyl's going to get isolated, rooted. Geno's in trouble, but keeping his distance. Cope is down. Sibyl is down. Both of them have a mask mark. And MandoWarrior just watching.
The kiting out of Armada was just too powerful there. They almost killed Vetium. Great peels from Geno with the mighty yawn. With the initial pick from Meerkat, they invested a little bit too much there, but they couldn't find the reset. And this has been problematic because Armada's a team that the longer the team fights go, they just know what to do. They've been through the ringer after that. They have the instinct and the intuition to turn those losing situations on its head. And it looked like JinguBang had a great ultimate in the back line. He just couldn't commit any further from the airstrike.
Not only do they have the wherewithal, the presence, the veterancy, they have the composition as well. I mean, you painted it perfectly. Go in for the poke. If it results in a kill, keep going. If not, heal by Meerkat and do it again in 30 seconds. That's totally fine. You're waiting on Baskin's taunt cooldown? That's what you're doing.
Basically. But
so
Meerkat died so early in that last fight, so Armada couldn't do that whole heal and bait and switch strategy.
And that's Cryptik being on the money, identifying who's being, who's the cannon.
They did a lot of AoE damage. Of course, Meerkat, obviously, the cat. You got to feed the hot cat.
MandoWarrior has been able to get Meerkat pretty much every time in the modern game. Or excuse me, in the late game, every time Meerkat has kind of like reared up and been like, all right, yeah, we're going to get him. Meerkat lands his damage. But MandoWarrior's right there in the back to make sure that it's just the initiation.
And it also alters the build from Meerkat because of how much pressure is put onto him. He's forced to go into the Book of Thoth just for more survivability. He doesn't have that much cooldown reduction as a result. Only 10% on Shoes of Focus. To be fair, you don't really need that much cooldown reduction on a Ra anyway. But I like the idea, though. He has to find a way to survive, and this will allow him to do it. He could also go E-Staff as his last item.
We do like some E-Staff. This is just pure damage. Going for it. Gotta be a big fan. Left side tier 2 falls down. The only tower left is the right side tier 2. Armada already lead by about 8,000 gold. Kumbha leading the charge. Geno blinks forward and isolates 2. Meerkat on the money, cuts Diesel down to half HP. MandoWarrior on the backside. Meerkat trying to deal, and trying is the operative word. Does get help from Baskin, and the old man falls down, but here comes Diesel with the follow-up. Baskin cut him down to 1 HP, but one is not none, and he will walk away. MandoWarrior, no such luck. Mask with the kill. It's a 5-on-4.
He didn't even have to blink in the backline. He just kind of weaved through with all the chaos around him. In the backline, JinguBang gets absolutely destroyed after that miss.
P.S. The mid lane bird down as well. Mask doing some homework while he was off screen. Now in trouble is Diesel, and out of trouble because he's already dead. Double kill for Vetium. And the rest of Armada gonna walk up to the Titan. Can't tank it just yet, Anatoly. Needs some help from the old minions.
30 seconds and 20 from a couple of these members. 40 from Diesel before they revive. 5-on-2 for only Cope and Sibyl to play defense. A lonely Ullr paired up with a Terra. I don't think that's enough to stop the efforts from Armada.
It's going to be a little rough. Gino with Sibyl messed him out. 70% HP, and quickly, that's gone. Game number 1 to Armada.
Really working out for Armada once they started grouping up, utilizing Baskin's Athena taunt. That last play, by the way, Vetium keeping Meerkat alive with that persistent gust, making sure that MandoWarrior wasn't going to get that early pickoff again.
Very important stuff here coming out from Armada. As we said, having a little bit of fun, but it all makes sense. The timings are what's important. Look for their power spikes and look for their wins. Armada up 1-0. We'll be back after this.
The SMITE Minor League is brought to you by Titan Forge Games, the developers of SMITE.
Thanks for coming back to the SMITE Minor League. Finch still here, and Armada still on top, at least here in this set. They grabbed that first victory, despite us having some questions about the draft. The guy who was up here with me questioning the draft, that was Ryan Aggro. Bailey, how are you feeling over there, man?
Well, was I the only one that thought giving them, set Zhong Thor was a lot? I was alone in that, Finch?
No, I said the one who was up here with me, thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, the one who was questioning the draft, also up here with me. Aggro, yeah.
Yeah, I put it all at your feet, yeah, on that one. But, I mean, that was one of the things that we said, right, was that we knew Armada of Phase 1 was a strong enough team full of individual players that even if they went in with maybe less value picks based on the current meta, we knew they could still win. But could this iteration do it? They showed us the answer was yes, they can.
Yes, Baskin still ends up being pretty good at Smite, it turns out. He ends up top damage on Athena solo, and as soon as Armada started grouping up and really around Baskin's taunts, it was pretty impossible for Cryptik to come back from there. It was the combination of the grouped up Athena taunts and the raw healing. Vetium also looked much more comfortable today than he did in week 1 when we got a chance to see this team last, and that means it's an easy Armada victory.
Yeah, I think that helps them a lot. They had an absurd amount of control though between this Kumbhakarna and the Athena. I don't know how you meant to get away from it. As we said, it feels a bit like shooting fish in a barrel for the Athena and Ra, or the Jingwei Ra, in that situation when there's that much control. Everyone lands all the stuff they're supposed to, and they win that game.
Yeah, that's kind of what that comp was designed to do. You can give up all these insane meta picks right now, but it turns out lots of CC and some out-of-combat healing still gets the job done.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the picks and bans then for game number 2. Now, if you're Team Cryptik, how do you go back to the drawing board on that, right? You basically got to blind pick your team, and it wasn't enough. So I don't think your adjustments have to be made here if you're Team Cryptik. I mean, what do you ban Athena from Baskin? Like, is that what you do here?
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's what you do. I don't know. I mean, you've got a couple options. You can go with a a style of composition that kind of mirrors what Armada just did to you, a little bit more heavy CC. I mean, it's not like they were lacking CC. They had Zhong and Thor and Terra. I mean, that's a lot of CC on your team, but it's not ranged guaranteed CC kind of like that taunt often is. So maybe you try and go with that sort of direction to counteract what Armada might do again.
This time Armada are going to ban away that Thor. They do not want to see it. Meanwhile, Cryptik are going to continue to ban away this Ares, something they were potentially worried about being picked up by Mast last game. And I like that you kind of spoke a little bit there about Vetium, because he was one of the question marks for me after that Week 1 loss that this team took. And obviously he's replacing Big Shoes with Snoopy. So now that he's kind of back to that level where you expected him to be, Vetium obviously a top-tier SPL player in his own right, this team now a lot scarier.
No doubt. I mean, Vetium has had a very long storied career in the SPL, and this is certainly an area of the minor league where Vetium can really dominate his opponent. He's done it against some of the best in the world, and the SML are still players that are still trying to get to that level for the most part.
Sure.
I expect Vetium to do very well.
Well, Erlang Shen comes through first pick for Armada. Feels pretty good to me. This guy does just about everything it is that you want. All the CC and damage.
Now, here's the big brain plays for Armada,
You give this to Baskin.
No. No, you give it to Mask 100%.
Oh, you give it to Meerkat in the middle lane, right?
Oh, maybe, actually. That could be a
I'm sorry,
potential.
make your point.
But Armada, last game, they get first pick, and they go JinguBang. So Cryptik lose game 1, and they go, we'll take second pick. They're just going to take a trash god right away at the very beginning. Nope. Erlang Shen right off the bat, and they're like, oh, man, we messed up. We just
Well, that's
gave him
because
Erlang.
they banned JinguBang this time, though. They couldn't
very
take
smart.
It. Yeah, they couldn't pick.
Why are you banning
Armada
JinguBang
would
there?
have taken JinguBang there, obviously. And so now Vetium has to play Chernobog.
Oh, no.
Unfortunate for him.
The
Hachiman
vast
instead-
difference between JinguBang and Chernobog.
Yeah, well, can JinguBang like rotate across the map whenever she wants to?
I mean, if they're at her back harpies, then yes.
Then she can back and then just leave from Rapid Reincarnation. Yeah, she can do that too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But that's like, hunters go pew pew and kill you. Like they all do the same
Yes,
thing.
amongst the classes, there is the least variation amongst hunters, I would say, right?
Right,
At the
and
base
JinguBang
level
is just safe. That's the whole reason she gets picked. That's the entire thing. Vetium wasn't under that much pressure anyways. You can make the argument that Cryptik didn't want to put him under pressure because he's playing JinguBang and she's so safe.
Right.
Maybe we can camp him now that he has Chernobog. I don't really buy that argument. I think Chernobog's in a really good spot right now, and a lot of times he gets to fights that JinguBang never would with that global ultimate and ends up making an impact. I don't think that you're taking much away from Armada by taking JinguBang out of Vetium's hands.
These are three big playmakers, though, that Armada grabbed with their first 3 picks. The Erlang, Shen, Chernobog, and Morrigan can all individually turn team fights around and make big plays. Cryptik, on the other hand, though, have some heavy hitters of their own. Amaterasu and Set clearly have changed games, and they're going to add the Xing Chen here, too. We've seen him creep a little bit back in here and there. I still think Xing Chen could be a strong pick.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is a god that we should probably be seeing more of, and against the Morrigan, you've got a dot to reveal her when she's in stealth. It's great against auto-attack gods. Both Erlang, Shen, and Chernobog will be affected by that damage reduction on Furious Roar for auto-attacks. Armada's draft looks good. It's again, CC frontline heavy, and clearly Cryptik struggled with that in Game 1. They've got to figure out a way to play around that level of CC here again in Game 2.
And obviously love the Fafnir synergy with the Erlang, Shen, and the Chernobog as well when he's in the Draconic Corruption. Then you add in the Janus.
It's every time. It's every time a player roll swaps to mid, they're like, yo, I can definitely play Janus.
Yo, give me Janus.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this god's nuts. He goes through walls. I'm going to live for everything. It never works.
Well, let's just go ahead and get into the game then. Armada versus Cryptik, Game 2. Tom, please take this from us.
It's all mine. Okay, I got to share with Anatoly. How you doing, bud? Oh, you're very excited.
Yeah. Sharing is caring, Tom. It can be fun.
That's just weird. Mask going to be playing one of the stronger characters in the game, and Baskin taking one of the flavor of the moments, actually. I think Guan was really exciting at Midseason Invitational. That's kind of it.
Brought to you by Layers.
Sure,
From the
yeah.
console jungle of Hype Unit, and then opening the eyes of some SPL teams even into Phase 2. And now I think that we're going to see a lot of stuff from Baskin in the solo lane regardless. An aggressive front line out of Armada. There's Guan Yu, Erlang, even Fafnir, I'd say. Not too many peeling options, I think.
No, Meerkat is going to be the peeler. Really what I see here, Vetium can peel for himself, either get up in the ultimate and go away or, aggressively peel. I see Sibyl about to get in trouble as he's stunned twice. But really, Vetium can peel for himself, Mask can peel for himself, Baskin can get out of trouble. All of these characters in Armada, Meerkat included, are going to be able to get out of jail by themselves. So you're right, Tully. There's not a lot of peel, but there's a lot of individual capability to get themselves out of harm's way. And Cryptik just getting punched by this Meerkat Mask combo.
Able to steal away one of those oracles was Sibyl. Diesel and Vetium just taking shots at each other, one after another, but Vetium with this 1-level lead having a nice little advantage. Also, a lot of just stacks on that Hunter's Blessing to be able to win that race. It seems that Diesel got zoned away a little bit, actually, from the previous wave, although Vetium does have his own purple buff, as does Diesel.
Yeah, just starting out, though. We'll have to keep an eye on how these characters kind of wiggle on through. Armada able to really take care of business early, let's say middle of game number 1. Game number 2, we have yet to be seen, but this seems to be an earlier game than the first one. Geno already in back camps, players already looking to make moves, and nothing has come to fruition just yet. But Armada was a little bit slower on the uptake in game number 1. This time jumping in, wave 1.
They have been, for sure. And I think that if I'm trying to predict how the teamfights are going to pan out in the late game, I'm predicting a lot of mobility from Cryptik, right? Janus, Amaterasu, these are like your 2 go-tos to either force the teamfights or run away from them. And then MandoWarrior, the damage reduction from that Furious Roar at max rate, 50% damage reduction from basic attacks, which is going to hurt Vetium a lot. Masked on the Erlang, Shen, that's a great way to engage and to peel for your backline.
And of course, Meerkat, if he goes into the Erlang Shen or a carry, that's going to be a case too. So certainly want to keep that in mind as players continue to move forward. Xing for MandoWarrior. Straight up, a character that I think we should see more of.
We definitely should.
With the change to Nike, no other character has the level of HP 5 that MandoWarrior will be able to get on the Xing. The damage, like you mentioned, is all about basic attacks. And then, of course, the damage is also hot. You mentioned the utility part. That roar also hurts you a lot. Recently got changed. The jump is now straight up invincibility. The little double leap that he's got going on, the pancake flip is also about everything that Xing does. I love Totally. Why don't we see more of him? Is there something keeping him out?
No, I just think like there's been so many additional gods that feel that they're bloated, even though Xing kit has a lot of utility regardless anyway, like just from his passive alone, right? 36 HP 5.
Yeah.
So as long as you can maintain all those stacks, every single minute that you're in the lane, you're getting about 420 health every single minute.
How much?
It's never dark in this lane for Xing. It's always lit.
Very, very nice. I mean, the cooldown really works out. Everything he does, man, really just kind of is powerful. Certainly wish we could see more of him. JinguBang is here. Baskin here's all about it. Won't be a problem. Left side could be different for Diesel, but the dash is good. Hayajutsu. No problemo. Able to get on out of there. Purple buff has gone the way of Armada for a number of times in a row here. Sibyl shows up a little bit early for the party.
And to lean on the discussion more about the Xing and why we haven't really seen him further is just, he still feels clunky. Like, even though his Whirlwind of Rage and Steel has been altered to be a little bit faster, it still feels like there are better engagement tools from other laners to get that burst damage. But I think it's still a good way to incorporate more beats burning gods. Like, if you have a composition that's aimed at burning those defensive relics, Xing should be among the highest of consideration.
Yeah, we had the conversation with, what was it? Hunbats, Ares, Daji, Xing certainly in there. The washing
Cerberus
machine
could be included in there.
The washing machine demands your beats.
I miss Cerberus. I wish we saw more Cerberus.
Do you? Vetium's up for some reason. All right. Ultimate burn from Vetium.
To scare people. Vetium's a scary dude. Did you see his picture on Twitter recently?
No.
He's jacked.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
More so than you?
Yeah, we're going to arm wrestle when he gets to land.
Oh, man. He's always had big arms. But I don't know, Tolly. You're a monster.
Vetium's a beast, though.
But you're a beast. I don't know. I'd put money on you, Tolly.
I don't want to break his arm, though. Pro players are very delicate.
There it is. I was waiting. I was like, where's solo lane at Tully?
Yeah.
We're getting Coach Tully. I need solo lane Tully. Come out here and Ymir free someone real quick.
Give him the ice carpet while I'm at it.
Oh, man. Armada, hungry as ever. 1,000 gold up, even with nothing really exciting going on. It's just been these repeated invades. Take a look at where Mask is on your minimap right now. You can see he's all the way up there, and now they'll look for the kill.
Uh-oh, Cope not next to a wall, but CC immunity from through space and time puts him closer to one.
Sibyl might get all 3 stuns, actually just gets Mask, but nobody's there, so, you know, tree, woods, noise, etc. Team Cryptik, still trailing. Might get squashed here. JinguBang in a bad spot. Stunned, rooted, but more of a defensive maneuver.
A lot of poke damage onto him. He doesn't really have much to go back into that melee, but it doesn't matter anyway since he was planning on going to the speed. So a lot of sustain that he'll about to receive from that Assassin's Blessing on all these buffs.
Carry 1v1. Diesel will chase out the jump from Vetium. Vetium will chase out the ultimate. That said, he'll go right into his own. 3 shots will do it, or the combo. Good enough. Vetium, not a hair of matter, uses every resource and takes down the opposition 1v1.
A great play from Vetium. Diesel was forced to use that mounted archer to get away from that first root danger threat, but once that was down, Vetium, the living nightmare, able to chase him down, slow him a little bit as well, resets his cooldowns to look for the second opportunity. With a level lead now, he should be able to continue this kind of a pressure and win the stacking department.
There's that ultimate from Mando. It's going to force out the ultimate from Baskin, who can't find the jump. But here comes help from JinguBang, and Baskin all but dead. 1 dash is strong. Aurora from Mando, a little bit stronger. Meerkat finds himself behind enemy lines on that Morrigan. Well, the Morrigan will come out of invisibility, and Gino will send MandoWarrior back to base. Matt shows up and does a ton of damage. Knock-up combo, etc. Replays.
Oh! Cope showing us all. He can play the Janus in mid.
Just from all the way to the other side, man.
The mechanics. No one was ever questioning Cope's ability to land skill shots and abilities. Playing mid is a different kind of game than jungle when you have to know how to play defensive, because normally as a jungler, you never are playing defensive. You're the one making the plays.
You just run away. That's how I play defensive. I turn around and I W.
Basically. But in this instance, Cope very comfortable about, and I'm sure he's probably played Janus jungle in his past before.
I actually think I can remember him playing it on the big stage, like in a minor league game.
Possibly.
The Janus jungle might have come out for him. More normally a European thing, but we'll certainly keep our mind open because Cope always has.
During the meta of like, what was it? Soul Reaver, Soul Gem, Polynomicon.
Just
like
one
Janus
shot.
one-shotting people? Yeah. Every jungler was playing Janus.
The Janus jungle?
Oh yeah, you were one-shotting people. It was disgusting.
Oh man. My first interaction with the Janus jungle, probably Zeros, when that SK team way back in the day started transitioning from being like Reels X's squad to time to move on, boys, because Reels isn't here anymore.
Yeah.
There were some unfortunate players on that team, but you know who else came from that team? Captain Twig, Zeros.
Big Man was on that team from Fnatic in early season 3 days.
Yep, that was right at the beginning of the end. Left side, Meerkat isolated by Team Cryptik, and Copebby will show him the good stuff. Here comes the rest of Armada now, but will it be Cryptik's chance as they have the numbers advantage? Cope in trouble, and yeah, you can't do that, my friend. Stuck. Anytime you see the Janus die with his portal still up, hurts.
Feels bad.
It just hurts.
I think he was trying to bait out long enough to place down another portal and have his teammates clean up, but they weren't really interested, despite having the numbers advantage, not having the positioning. But Gino might not be able to get out of this one. The silence a little bit too early, wasn't actually applied there.
Diesel in some trouble. Just used the ultimate too, so he doesn't have that available. Here comes help from Meerkat as he turns into Vetium. Both Chernobogs living nightmares, plural. Cryptik pushed off their tier 1 tower, and that was enough room for Armada to look for a Gold Fury, a tier 1. Looks like gold was their decision until Mando stuck around.
Good play from Mast. He wanted to take that fight offensively. Beats through the ultimate to continue fighting. And Baskin still casually proxying between Tier 1 and Tier 2. He's like the best PvEer. As much credit as Baskin has been receiving for his playmaking opportunities.
Armada trying to force the Gold Fury and get stolen away by Team Cryptik.
That's a big yikes.
That is a big yikes. Meerkat also going to fall down, it looks like. The chase is real and the Kingslayer is on.
That ultimate, just for good measure, definitely was about to connect there. So Cope, good accuracy, and Cryptik actually doing a good plays there. Not really getting punished for
Not at all.
what Baskin was able to do on that right side of the map.
That was just sheer audacity. You know, that was Armada just going, hey, we're better. We're going to get this Gold Fury. And that was the, you know, you can't live like that.
Well, they did bully them out from the dual lane, but then they transitioned in such a way that they had no one zoning.
Well, the damage was just low. That's really what I noticed. With the Gold Fury didn't get burned down the way we expected it to.
It is early in the game, right? Like level 12 to 13 Chernobog at the time. Not even fully stacked Devil Gloves. No Executioner. That's a big power spike to help kill the Gold Fury faster. Their idea and mindset was that they bullied MandoWarrior out. They didn't have to worry about him. Baskin was guaranteed to maybe force a rotation to defend this Tier 1 tower on the right side, and that the Gold Fury should have been free.
Sure.
But the fact that nobody zoned was a little bit of a problem.
Well, right now we're looking at a tie game. Armada might have been able to find themselves up. They're looking for a big play here on the left side. That'll force out the teleport from the solo laner. So the gank that was going to come will not.
Well, you save your tower on the left, you're about to lose it on the right. Baskin doesn't even need to stay. They're going to let the minions do the dirty work.
The chase is on. Team Cryptik looking for one. Mask does not have beads available. He's tossed backline and destroyed. Couple of ultimates being expended there. Mask's not getting the charge.
Uh-oh, MandoWarrior now between a rock and a hard place, but Meerkat stun evaded by the double jump.
Here comes Baskin, though, being aggressive on the horseman, landing down. Vetium going to land on the right side as well. Meerkat's down south, ready to make a kill, and does just that. MandoWarrior sitting down, and Armada pushing into the Tier 2 again. Tier 1 tower still stands. The heals from the Guan, pretty decent. But with no Oni Fury up, they're going to have to wait another 2.5 for that one. Really, they get a pick and nothing off it.
No, nothing else quite yet. Still could look for more, knowing that Diesel is rather low. I love what Meerkat was able to do in that last fight by transforming into the Janus, accelerating his team further towards that Tier 2 tower. And Cope was like, wait a second. I'm just going to shoot the same exact way that these portals are coming from. So that way, if somebody was coming through it, they would take guaranteed a lot of damage, but Armada doing a good job of splitting through those uprights.
If I'm Team Cryptik right now, I'm definitely warding a lot, and I think that's why Cryptik has been able to kind of stay in this game. Armada's been able to kind of sneak small leads in game number 1, and a lot of that came from invades or casual pickoffs, and good ward vision from Team Cryptik has prevented that. You see one ward just straight up in the middle lane. We've had a ward in the back jungles and the front jungles, and those wards, that vision from Cryptik has been very, very important, because Meerkat is literally invisible when he engages on you. So what you want is to have the wards around where you're going to be fighting, so you know where Meerkat is before he goes invisible, and you will never exactly know, but you'll have a general idea as to where the mid laner can be, and that's the most important thing.
And just the pathing of not only Meerkat, but everybody else on his team to make a more calculated decision for Cryptik of where they want to utilize this Janus ultimate and Sibyl's movement speed aura to apply pressure.
Well, here comes Meerkat one more time. JinguBang gets his beads chased out and 75% of his life bar. Cope drops the ult in addition. And the mid lane will be the battlefield one more time. The retreat from the jungle could be true. But left side, it's anything but a retreat. Vetium barking down the door, taking care of Tier 1. And Diesel's ultimate will be shrugged off.
No ultimate available for the escape. Stun onto Sibyl with a knock-up. Sibyl dangerously low as Meerkat with his own shots.
Cope lands 2 on the backside as well, but it's all about Baskin, baby. 1, 2, and actually, Let me take that back. Meerkat turns into Cope and nails 2 with the Janus ultimate. My mistake. The Morrigan, the Changeling, the Collegiate World Champion, the Meerkat himself. Real smooth play there. Just understanding when and where he's got to turn into. Long range engage, no problem. I can turn into Cope. Close range engage, again, no problem. I can turn into MandoWarrior if I need to.
Smooth moves from Meerkat and Vetium as they got 2 separate double kills in that exchange. They lost the first goal, Fury, this time around with only Cope up without the ultimate. Not in position to steal it away this time around.
Easily. Armada sitting pretty, about 6,000 gold. Team Cryptik's senior. And in addition, that was just the Oni Fury wave. So
Yes.
Onis will be coming, Oni minions, much, much more powerful. And so it's all on Armada's block.
The question is how they transition this lead further, because with this 4-level comfortable lead from Baskin, this is where teamfights should be rolling on every single minute. Not only the right side lane that they have the experience lead, but the left as well. Vetium 3 levels over his opposition. Not a good look if you're Diesel, that also has the fail not. And he's been using that ultimate defensively, not really being able to synergize with that passive. Normally, you use your ultimate, you hit a target, use an ability or basic attack to get the rest of your teammates to get that extra 15% crit, but Diesel hasn't been able to use that to his own standards.
Cope gets chunked. Not once, but twice. Meerkat shows up, then Gino. Backline, Vetium flies from out of nowhere. Copebby in trouble. Pop, pop, see you later. 5-0-3 for the Canadian carry. Gino combines and puts one down as well. The dual lane on a tear. Baskin not going to give up. Stunned. Hits the 2 and the 3. And that'll be all number 11 for Armada.
Just like that, showing us why Diesel has been always running away.
Yep.
Just can't use the fail not at all. First, it looked, at a first glance, I was like, wait, what is Vetium doing there in the backline? But the collapse from everyone out of Armada, a lot of trust in his teammates to take advantage of that play.
Mid lane Phoenix is down. 18 minutes on the clock. Armada going all the way in, and it's only 50% done already. And the damage is there. 1843 in total. Armada take the set.
A lot faster than game number 1, and this is the pressure that Cope was not able to really apply throughout the course of the game. The mobility tactics between the Janus and the Amaterasu wasn't developed to the late game quite yet. The pressure from Baskin and Vetium, these two side laners collapsing together, too much for Cryptik to handle.
You know, we said in picks and bans that this team, or this draft, only had one option. It was be aggressive and get the win. They were aggressive, and they got the win. Not just game 1, but game 2. That'll lock it down. It's Armada up and down. One more match. We'll be right back.